wear a darn mask.
Cuyahoga County leaders are not messing around. The stern warning for all residents to wear their masks. This comes as the state reports its highest single-day jump in new cases since the pandemic started. A local doctor breaks down why it's happening.
With it being a high tourist destination, we just want to protect everybody here.
An island takes action. What's being done to stop another outbreak at Put-in-Bay? And legally speaking, the actions you can take if you bought something but never received it because of the pandemic. And it's storming. We're going to have the latest on your forecast and a look ahead to the weekend. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
All right, everybody, we made it. It is Friday. Thank goodness. It is coming up on 5 o'clock now. Mikey Mike is at home, hanging in the basement still. Mike, it is great to have you back in Jay's seat with us once again. How are you doing so far today?
I'm glad to be here as well. Thank you. I'm doing great. We've actually got some weather here outside Chateau Polk, though, in Lakewood. Is it supposed to be this severe everywhere? Because it is loud out there.
It is. We are definitely rumbling, and I'm kind of keeping an eye on a whole bunch of different things at once. So we're going to first take a look at the forecast because of the stormy weather that we are dealing with. There's a look outside downtown Cleveland. Mike, the camera is pointed your way. That CSU cam is pointed west, and you can see the low clouds. These are categorized as SLCs, everybody. Scary looking clouds, okay? We do have scattered thunderstorms that are around. None of it is severe in immediate northeast Ohio. The only exception to that would be Carroll County, where we still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. And the strongest storms right now are in the eastern portion of Stark County. We're going to stop it and we're going to take a little bit closer view of this here, down into portions of Stark County, Carroll County. Stark County is not under severe thunderstorm warning right now, but you can see we have this very dark red color. That's an intense amount of rain. We have a lot of lightning, almost continuous lightning showing up here. And if we take a look at the rain rates, you'll be able to see we're getting some of these really bright colors, these highlighted pinks and purples. And that's where we have some pretty significant chances for immediate, not necessarily immediate flash flooding, but I want to say rising water in a very quick fashion. And that is going to continue to move out to the east. To go a little bit farther to the north through Portage County and up into Geauga County, eastern sections of Cuyahoga County, more of the same with these scattered storms. Now, as far as the forecast over the next few hours, these storms are going to start to fade away, but we have another round that's expected later tonight. That will linger into the day tomorrow. And just in case you're loving this heat and you're thinking, oh, here comes the cool air, note in the forecast, it doesn't stick around for long. Things are going to be changing, swinging back into the heat as we head through next week. The weather, of course, is just one of the stories that we are following today. Now to some breaking news. 1,525 new cases reported within the last 24 hours here in the state of Ohio. That is the highest number of cases in a single day since this whole pandemic started. Now, the state's total cases now top 62,000. So, what does it mean? We talked with Dr. Keith Armitage at University Hospitals about how we got here.
The virus is still here. It's still being spread, particularly indoors with strangers, with people you don't normally associate with day to day. You have to wear a mask. You have to do social distancing. If we can do that, we could avoid one of these painful shutdowns.
Well, Dr. Armitage said we let our guard down in May, and we can't do that. Let's take a look at some numbers here. I'm going to get this desk out of the way real quick. Let's go back over here. This is a different type of a map than we've shown recently. We've only shown it a couple of times, but I think there's an important story to be told here. The blue line, that's the total number of tests that have been given in one day, reported by the state. There's a 48-hour delay in that number. But the most important thing is this yellow line. That's the percent of positive tests. So we give all these tests in one day, but the percentage of the tests that's actually coming back positive is relatively small. The problem is right here in early June, that number was at about 3.7, 3.8%. Fast forward to July 8th, 2 days ago, that number is 6.7%. Yes, we're giving more tests, but more tests are also coming back positive. That means the virus continues to spread in the state of Ohio. That's something to know. Well, now on to your feed at 5. The news has not been good here in Cuyahoga County, which has now reached its highest number of weekly cases of coronavirus to date. And health experts say it is not because of an increase in testing. That is 747 new cases. The previous high was 730 cases just the week before. And in the past 6 out of 7 days, there have been more than 100 new cases per day just here in Cuyahoga County. Now, health experts say in some cases, people have been traveling out of state and they're coming back ill with the virus, as well as people working multiple days while sick. Now, they warn if you feel that you've been exposed to COVID-19 and you get a test, limit your contact with others until you get the results.
So we're still seeing dinners and parties, birthday parties, graduation parties, things that seem really innocent at the time. And we understand that people have that desire to see their loved ones again, but it is posing a risk to everyone who attends that gathering if somebody just so happens to be sick, and a lot of times are not even aware of it at that moment.
Okay, so Cuyahoga County has set up a hotline for complaints against those who are not wearing masks. Remember, please don't call 911 for that. You can call 216-698-5050. 698-5050. And less than an hour from now, new mandates will be going into effect for Lorain and Summit counties. Now, Tiffany Tarpley joins us with a look at the challenge of how to enforce this change. Tiffany, this is, a lot of people are looking at this and going, great, okay, well, we have to wear the masks. If people aren't wearing the mask, what's the consequence for them?
Yeah, that is the big question, Betsy, when it comes to all of this. Now, remember, both Lorain and Summit counties, they are going to be going into that red level, so the second to highest level, which means masks are mandated. So when you have all of these changes, of course, there are new expectations. So let's start in Lorain County. Dave Koval is the health commissioner there. While they don't write tickets, he says they will work on education. Enforcement will be a combination of business owners and the general public cooperating. And there is a similar stance in Summit County. Health Commissioner Donna Skota says they are a complaint-based organization and will send inspectors to follow up.
So we really go out with an open mind, trying to help educate. Some jurisdictions are still planning on passing masking ordinances that may have penalties associated with them. So each individual jurisdiction may choose to pursue penalties.
So wearing a mask is a great barrier. That's a good thing. We should not necessarily always fixate on the mandate or not mandate, and really just understand it's part of us as a community.
And so Lorain County's health commissioner says it is likely they will toggle back and forth between the red and orange levels. Remember, with orange, masks are recommended. Red, they are mandated. But big question, Betsy. I mean, you brought it up. What about law enforcement? What is their role in all of this? We're going to explore that side on What Matters Most at 6 o'clock.
I have to say, I love what the state is doing with numbers and trying to keep everything good, but I think this whole red, orange, in, out, wear it, don't wear it, I think that's a little bit of a miss. It's going to cause some confusion. I really kind of wish they would have just said, wear the masks and we're done with it. So, what does my opinion count? Probably not for much. But that being said, thank you very much, Tiffany. I appreciate it. Well, Put-in-Bay is definitely a destination for fun here in Northeast Ohio, but recently a COVID-19 outbreak hit the island. So to make sure everyone is safe, Ottawa County started voluntary testing. Today was the first day, and there are about 1,000 tests available. Nearly 400 people had gone through the line when our crews were there. Jerry Bingham, the Ottawa County Health Commissioner, hopes this will help keep people safe on the island.
We want to work with the business here to help them come up with a plan that if they do have employees that are sick, with this being a high tourist destination, we just want to protect everybody here.
Well, he believes it could take 48 hours to get the results. Mike?
Thanks, Betsy. It's now time to check in with Laura Queso, who's in the newsroom with today's other big stories. Laura, I know you're new to the area, but Put-in-Bay, it is it's an incredible regional destination, vacation spot temporarily. But right now, I'm not sure I'd want to be there, but I do think you should check it out once you're ready.
Not so much right now, but yeah, maybe in 2021, Mike. Great advice there. Good suggestion. All right, let's get to your headlines, though, because we have a lot to talk about. First, a statewide endangered missing child alert has now been issued for a 17-year-old Brimfield Township girl. Megan Dye was reported missing on Wednesday when she did not return home. Her parents tracked her phone and found her car, purse, and phone at Tannery Park in Kent. She had plans to meet friends there. Please stop what you're doing. Take a good look at Megan's picture. It's on your screen. She's 5'4", weighs around 170 pounds. She has blue eyes and recently dyed her hair a purple or burgundy color. Call Kent Police if you know anything or if you've seen anything. United Airlines is warning more than 400 United employees at Hopkins Airport they could lose their jobs. The airline says travel was down 95% in April, and even though things are improving, they're still spending much more money than they earn. The layoffs can't happen until October, though, because United accepted federal CARES Act money that requires no one be laid off through the end of September. Plans are in place to rebuild the historic Notre Dame Cathedral after it was destroyed by fire. This video. There was some controversy, though, over what it would look like. The French president suggested a more contemporary design for the cathedral's spire. The agency in charge of the restoration now says the cathedral will be restored to the way it looked when the fire broke out. It's still hard to look at that video. I mean, it just seems like yesterday that happened, that we brought you that breaking news.
Yeah, I can't believe that was that long ago. Thank you, Laura. Well, my hometown is getting a national attention, a little dose of it that it hasn't had in quite some time. I'm going to take a trip back to Newton Falls, where they now consider themselves to be a statue sanctuary city. And a Rocky River teenager. Sorry, that's you. That was my fault, Betsy. I love you.
You can read it. A Rocky River teenager is getting national attention too, but he is doing it because of duct tape. All right, well, we'll see the tux that he made with tape. You can see it there. It's kind of an impressive deal, right? And as far as the forecast goes, yeah, we're going to have some more on that too, coming up.
fascinated.
Well, the city of Newton Falls has received some national attention this week after a proclamation signed by the city manager declared it as a sanctuary city and offered to accept some of the statues that are being torn down across the country.
This is a city that I happen to know very well, so I took a trip back to Trimble County to learn some more. Welcome to Newton Falls, Ohio. Until recently, best known for its quaint downtown, historic covered bridge, and redundant zip code. It also just happens to be my hometown. This was my house. This was my school. And this is new to me. But Newton Fallites better get used to this, and possibly many more statues. First of all, hi, thanks for having us.
Good to see you, Mike.
Appreciate it. Tell me a little bit about this statue and what does it represent to the city?
We renamed this park Liberty Park. What stands for liberty greater than the Statue of Liberty?
Where did this come from?
This came from a former tax service in which the business closed down. So this statue essentially was being used as a commercial advertisement.
I see.
And now it's been converted to a commemoration of our freedom. Well, I saw statues all across the country being toppled, so it just seemed to me that if statues of these iconic, non-controversial, but flawed individuals could be brought here, we'll treat them with a place of respect. Why should they gather dust?
This is about when the honking started.
During the Civil War.
It was clear many residents were eager to share their feedback with Mr. Lynch.
Get some feedback over here.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Dave Lynch needs fired.
Whom, to his credit, seemed to take it in stride.
Right, well, that,
She's
Mockery and embarrassment of this town.
there's been some response,
yes.
directly in traffic sometimes.
Yes.
The city manager's proclamation names just 8 statues that he says he will accept for display in the village.
What made you settle on those statues as being the acceptable ones?
Everybody who's in leadership is a mixed bag of good and bad. We wanted to focus on the greatness of their achievements, but I also wanted to evaluate that mixed bag. It was just trying to find those icons in which the good outweighed the bad.
For the record, City Manager Lynch says he won't accept Confederate statues.
In fairness, you have Christopher Columbus on here, not only enslaved, but captured, kidnapped over 1,000 people and enslaved them from there. Why is he okay?
Well, I mean, you can ask the citizens of Columbus, Ohio, the same question. I guess the best answer is Christopher Columbus stood in particular for the concept of courage in the face of discovery.
Overall, though, you've heard feedback from the community. What's the feedback been like?
Yeah, generally speaking,
Hold on.
For all of us.
generally speaking, it's been positive.
You're developing a bit of a fan club around
Yes,
here.
certainly I am.
I asked him about a popular online petition that firmly opposes his proclamation.
But you understand that people are frustrated because this is all based on your personal metric and you're representing this entire village.
Well, I'm charged with making decisions. That's part of my responsibility. And sometimes those decisions people are going to love. Sometimes those decisions people are going to hate.
For now, my hometown remains a city quite divided and very much a part of the national conversation, whether they like it or not.
I hope you get a LeBron statue here soon, because that's what we deserve.
This is Mike Polk in the 44444 for 3 News. So I did talk to some people when I was down there, and not a lot of people want to go on camera, which is a very Newton Falls thing. They all have opinions, but they also don't want to be tracked. That's kind of a hometown thing. And a lot of them really were on either side of this issue. But one thing that most of them did agree on is that it's an important enough issue that maybe the voters would have preferred to have had a say in it on either side. But it was a nice little trip back home.
I can understand that. I mean, you know, those people were shouting, you know, you don't speak for all of us. He is a representative of the city, so I think that would be something that should be in the discussions a little bit longer, for sure. Great job on that, Mike. And
you know, but he was very gracious. Thank you.
You don't forget that. That's
very
kind
redundant.
of a nice
that was our big
have.
sign. You saw that out there. We were very proud of that. That was on most of our postcards.
Everybody else sits there and goes, 4-4. You know, you got to remember it. And where's work and where's home? Ugh,
Not hard
whatever.
for me.
I know. And, you know, it's interesting because it's kind of a mishmash of everything in Northeast Ohio, which is much like the weather that we have had today. We've had sunshine, we've had heat, we've had humidity. We had thunderstorms going on. Next 12 hours, we're looking at temperatures settling back into the low 70s as we head into the overnight hours, and we are looking at more showers and storms coming our way. Now, if you still have plans to get outside this evening, maybe try and hit some patios, just keep an eye on the radar. I actually think we're going to have some time here where we will be dry. So if you do have a chance to get out and hit the patio, by all means do it. But always keep an eye out for the weather because things are getting a little interesting, especially farther east, out toward the wineries in Ashtabula, Lake Geauga counties. We do indeed have some showers and thunderstorms rolling through there. Farther west, though, we've seen things kind of settling down a little bit. We've been keeping an eye out for the thunderstorms around downtown Cleveland and farther west, and I think we are going to get a nice break here around most of the area. I'd say west of 77, we have a little bit of a break with the exception of these showers that are going on down in Ashland County and over toward Wayne County too. But by and large, the biggest threat as far as any strong storms right now is east. So we're going to line it up from the southeast corner of Portage County over into Columbiana County. Stark County, you're almost out of it. So up around the Alliance area, you're almost done with it. Limaville, you're in it, but it's going to continue to move up to the northeast, up toward Newton Falls and Youngstown. Carrollton, you're out of it now, but the strongest part of the thunderstorm is just headed over toward the East Liverpool area. So not too many threats there. I think things are going to dry out nicely for you folks. Farther north, though, we've got some very heavy rain, some strong storms that are moving through areas out around East Lake right now, up into Mentor, down into Willoughby Hills and Willowick, Waite Hill and whatnot. And then you get down into central portions of Portage County, Geauga County out around Burton, and then down into Portage County where we still have those storms that are rolling eastbound. Where we have had the rain, it has cooled back into the 70s, but it's ultra muggy and feeling disgusting. Where we have not had the rain, temperatures have been in the 80s. We made it to 95 at Hopkins today. To the west of us, we get a break. This is kind of an interesting change in the forecast. Things do kind of change on us from time to time, as we all know. These are the shower and thunderstorm chances later tonight. Then we're going to get a break, and then Sunday we'll have another chance to see some storms start to sweep in here as another hit of energy comes at us from the west. Tropical Storm Faye is causing all kinds of flooding problems in New England and down into the New York City area. This is going to continue to move northbound and not really expected to be much more than a wind and rain maker for areas of New England. Universal Windows Direct forecast has us holding here in the 80s as we head through the rest of the weekend. Monday's kind of a cool day now for us. A chance for some showers in the morning. We will see some sun later in the day. And remember, I said the heat is going to come roaring back, and indeed it is. By the middle of next week, we are getting right back into the mid-90s. The humidity is going to be creeping up on us once again, so we are expecting to see some pop-up shower and storm chances by the time we get to Thursday and Friday. And Mike, I got to tell you, that definitely looks like a late July forecast to me.
She's a scorcher, Betsy. She's a scorcher.
You got it.
Coming up next, a tuxedo duct tape. Finally. It's the handiwork of a local teenager, and it's getting him some major bragging rights. And Stephanie has all the details next on Clicking in Cleveland. Welcome back to What's New, everybody. Our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney, has always had her hand right on the pulse of what everyone is talking about. Stephanie, what's going on with OBJ now, that character?
Well, Mike, apparently people have a lot of confidence in his recovery because NFL experts are calling him one of the best wide receivers in the league. A poll by ESPN's Jeremy Fowler ranks Odell Beckham Jr. as the number 4 wide receiver in the NFL right now. This is based on a survey of 50 lead executives, coaches, scouts, and players. Fowler said OBJ got more than 1 first-place vote and that his gifts are still undeniable, even though he's coming off his worst full NFL season ever with just 74 catches and 4 touchdowns. But remember, he was dealing with that sports hernia injury last year, which, as we can see here, he seems to be recovering from nicely. Now, this year, proms got canceled, but the fashion did not, and Joshua Ohala from Rocky River chose to make his tuxedo out of duct tape. This was for the Stuck at Prom scholarship contest worth $10,000, and he's in the top 5 with his Cleveland-inspired design. He put a Lake Erie sunset on the back of his jacket, fireworks going off over the downtown Cleveland skyline on the vest, and then the front has a heron standing there in water, and he topped it off with white, black, and gold duct tape shoes, a gold tie, and a red flower to add a little splash of color. It took him 96 hours to make this masterpiece, and he is up against stiff competition. There are 4 other finalists in the tuxedo division. Now, there's also a separate contest for duct tape gowns, and we do all get to vote for the winner of the Duck brand duct tape contest on their Facebook page. Now, here's the important part. That voting goes through midnight tonight, so we can all help him out if we want to win him that money. We have that link on WKYC.com. Mike, it took him 4 days to make this tuxedo. I think that he earned that 10 grand. I think we need to vote for him.
I love projects like that so much, and I'm very proud of that gentleman. I hope that we all vote for him. I got to say, though, it's a perfect time to have the duct tape tuxedo and dress here because nobody's actually dancing. Because I got to say, if people were actually dancing, I'd say 3 fast dances, and that thing's going to stink, and it's going to be very uncomfortable, and it's going to be gross for everybody, especially because they're teens. Thank you very much, Stephanie. I appreciate it. Betsy, what's going on in your world right now?
Well, we got this whole little news thing going on, certainly, that we have been keeping an eye on. You know, this COVID-19 crisis that we are dealing with, this pandemic, we're learning so much every single day. Now, blood clots are the newest thing that researchers are focusing on. This information is coming out of autopsies. And the pandemic has forced a lot of businesses to close. Some won't be reopening. We're going to break down your rights if you paid for something but you never received it because of the pandemic. And if you're trying to lose the quarantine 15, some precautions you might want to take if you're heading to the gym. And we'll have information on the types of exercises that spread the least amount of germs. We'll be right back.
I'm no doctor.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's New. It is almost the weekend. Certainly everybody's looking forward to that. I'm Betsy Kling. Mike Polk is my co-pilot tonight. And Mike, it's 5:30. That means it is time for you to tell us something good.
I'm happy to, but first I just have to show you what's haunting me here right now, just so you can see. I mean, imagine trying to work like this with this thing just sitting here. Yeah, he's really keeping an eye on things. A Texas woman is celebrating a very big birthday, Betsy. Ruth turned 95 this week. She's overcome a lot of obstacles in her life, including 2 strokes and losing sight in one of her eyes. She also just beat COVID-19. This woman is indomitable. Her daughter says Ruth's faith is what always keeps her going. While she has some lingering effects, she's back in her nursing home. Her family stood outside her window to celebrate her big day. So good for her.
That is
nice
so
work,
special.
Ruth. That's a tough lady.
I know. Boy, look at that. All that beautiful stuff. That is so cool. We're hearing a lot of inspirational stories that are coming out now, and that's really gotten a lot of folks through this whole pandemic so far. There's going to be more good things coming.
Boy, we need them. Yep.
And we'll get to tell everybody that, certainly. All right, thanks, Mike. We'll catch up with you again in just a couple of minutes, but now we need to get caught up with some of the major headlines happening today. The state of Ohio reported its highest daily increase in COVID-19 numbers since the pandemic began. Within the last 24 hours, 1,525 cases were reported. That's 145 more than our last record surge, which was back in April. Ohio now has 62,856 total cases. But what does that number really mean? So if you can't grasp what 62,856 looks like, that is almost a sellout crowd at First Energy Stadium. So if you've been in the stadium and you looked around and you've seen all those seats, it would almost fill the entire stadium to capacity. That is the number of people who've been diagnosed with COVID-19 in the state of Ohio. It's a big number. Well, now to our top talker, we learn more about the coronavirus and its impact on the body every day. And today, a top pathologist said autopsies of coronavirus patients show they have blood clots in almost every organ of their body. We talked to an infectious disease specialist from University Hospitals today about those findings, and he says doctors have known about this for a couple of months. They believe the virus actually attacks cells and disrupts their normal function, other than those that we typically think of, the respiratory ones, and that will be causing clotting. Now, patients who come in with serious coronavirus cases are now given a blood test so doctors can look for symptoms.
And when we identify those patients, we actually send them home on blood thinners. But once you've completely recovered, you're not sick anymore, and you're out of the acute illness, the risk for blood clotting goes down every day that you're out from the acute illness.
Dr. Armitage says most of the patients who go home on blood thinners, as he said, it lingers, they have to stay on the blood thinners for about a month. Mike?
Thanks, Betsy. Laura Queso now joins us with the newest headlines. Hello, Laura. What's the news?
A lot of news to get to, Mike. First, the World Health Organization has expanded its coronavirus guidelines to include the possibility the virus can be airborne under some circumstances. The move comes after more than 200 scientists signed a letter asking the organization to acknowledge airborne transmission is in fact possible. The WHO now says this can be true in some closed settings like restaurants and bars, churches and offices where people are talking, shouting, or singing. The organization says the virus is most likely to spread this way if ventilation is not good and people spend long periods of time with others. Former Glee star Naya Rivera is now presumed dead as authorities shift from a rescue effort to a search for her body. New video shows her arriving at a boat dock to take her 4-year-old son out on a lake in California. That lake is said to have very low visibility and a lot of trees and debris on the bottom. Rivera's son says she jumped into the water but did not come back up. Apple needs your help to test its new iOS 14 operating system. The tech giant has put out a beta version for users to try, but they warn It's not perfect, and it could actually contain bugs or even stop working. This is a big one, you could even lose your data. But the new system does have some features fans have wanted for years, including the ability to change your default email and browser settings and picture-in-picture video while you use other apps. Mike, is that something that you've been asking for?
Oh, totally. I actually still own a BlackBerry, Laura, to be honest. So none of this affects me at all. Wow, I've never seen you that disappointed. But thank you anyways. Thanks, Laura. Appreciate it.
Sure
Betsy?
thing.
Well, COVID-19 has forced a lot of businesses to temporarily close, but not all of them are going to be reopening. When they close for good, that sometimes leaves the customers who've already made payments out of luck and hoping for a refund. Our digital anchor and legal analyst, Stephanie Haney, who's also a lawyer, breaks down your rights in today's Legally Speaking segment.
With COVID-19 shutdowns causing businesses to close unexpectedly, some people might be wondering whether they can get their money back for deposits they've paid for things for the future. Maybe you recently started personal training and paid for several sessions up front, or you bought a gift card to a local restaurant, and now you find out those companies aren't just shut down for now, they won't be reopening ever. So what happens to that money? Can you get it back? Legally speaking, yes, but it might be tough, and some people will lose out because the money might not be there anymore. As the saying goes, you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. When a business closes, the first thing it has to do is pay off all debts. That includes your deposit. But there might be a lot of people in your position, so it becomes a race to get a refund. You can always file a lawsuit to try to get your money back, but depending on how much you paid, it might not be worth the cost or the effort. If a business owes a lot of people money and files bankruptcy, your payment might have priority, but it has to stack up against everyone else's claim, and a court will decide who gets paid and in what order. Your best bet? Go straight to the source and ask directly for that refund, and hope you're the first person in line to get paid out before everyone else starts asking and any official debt settling process begins. This is Stephanie Haney, Legally Speaking, for 3 News.
Thanks, Stephanie. Very useful. NBA players arrived to training camp last night, which has been nicknamed the Bubble. You've probably heard that. Our friend LeBron James, that guy, was one of the stars to arrive in Florida. Players are tested every day. Terrence Ross with the Orlando Magic gave his Instagram followers a behind-the-scenes look at what happens in the bubble. Players wear wristbands that have light up green in order to. They have to light up green in order for them to get in. That's how you get past the door guy, I guess. Then there was Joel Embiid, who was not taking any chances. He showed up to the Philly airport in what appears to be a hazmat suit, an ill-fitting hazmat suit. The Sixers player previously said he's not a big fan of playing in the bubble, but added that he's going to do his job, and he will do his job to not let his city down. So that's Joe. I don't know how protective that's going to be on Joel Embiid, since I don't think you're supposed to have that much gap between the glove and the sleeve in a hazmat suit. I think the whole point is it's supposed to cover your whole self. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that is it. And I don't know that they make hazmat suits in extra tall. So we'll have to search around in the big and tall section a little bit deeper and see if they can find something for him. That is kind of crazy to see,
How
though.
safe do you... It is. I mean, it is scary going in there, and that was obviously a little bit of a protest on Embiid's part, I think. That was his way of saying it's weird that we're maybe playing in this. But how safe would you feel if you were in there, Betsy, playing with everybody?
Well, I think the Indians are facing this right now, and all of the MLB teams, any of the teams that are coming together, you just need one guy to bring the virus in, and then potentially everybody's exposed. So, I mean, I don't know. I think everybody has their own threshold
Wish
for
for
their
the
risk.
best. Just got to wish for the best. New territory for everybody, but thank you. Quarantine 15, folks. I don't know if you've been looking at it, but I think a lot of us can relate to it. You know, we've all put on a little bit of weight right now, probably. And if you're ready to head back into the gym, we have some suggestions for you in order to keep you safe. Plus, which exercises spread the least germs? Mine are none at all. I spread no germs by not exercising. That's my little stance for the world.
There
Betsy,
you go.
how's
That's
the weather
a great
looking?
way to
Still
look
hot?
at it. Certainly. Safety first, Mike. We wouldn't want you to put yourself out there too much. All right, there's a look at the radar right now. We have Tropical Storm Faye in New England. We have thunderstorms here in Ohio. To the west, there is sunshine. If we take a look out on the CSU cam, we have some low clouds, but it is starting to brighten up a little bit. You can see even the lights are on over there at Progressive Field. We're going to take a look at the forecast for tonight with storms coming in and then the whole weekend outlook straight ahead.
And it's pop quiz time, folks. Today is Pina Colada Day. Finally. Where do you think that popular drink came from? Is it A, Mexico, B, St. Bart's, C, Puerto Rico? The answer when we come back. I'm sorry I tried to pronounce it properly. I'm sorry. Well, do you have the answer to our pop quiz? We asked you where the pina colada came from. Betsy, what's your guess?
The waiter, and bring me two.
Very good. Well, I'll accept that answer. It's C, Puerto Rico.
Yay!
That's the same answer.
Boricua.
Yeah, nice work.
Right?
That's yeah, heck yeah, I think. I don't know. I'll take your word for that. I'll tell you what, you know I'm a weirdo and I live next door to my sister. I was mowing the lawn a couple weeks ago, and she just brought me over in the middle of the day a nice pina colada.
Oh.
And that was like a really nice gesture.
Did
on a
you
hot
just
day,
stop and
you
give
know?
her a hug? That's hug-worthy.
No, I told her to get out of the way. I was trying to mow the lawn, but it was still a nice gesture.
It was.
Betsy, let's be honest now. We've all indulged in some of our favorite snacks during this quarantine, including this little gentleman right here. Look at this little porker. Never mind, we'll show you later. That's my cat. It's my cat still. He's fat. Don't worry about it. But there is a debate over... they want a shot. Go ahead. Look at him. Oh, dear. Hello. Oh, he's so heavy. That's fine. That's enough. He's a little camera hog. Some doctors are saying that wearing a mask during your workout might not cut back on what you need to do when not spreading the virus. That is, the germs can still get through that while you're in the gym. Gym owners say they are taking extra precautions to keep their patrons safe.
If you can maintain probably like maybe 12 feet distance, if not more, as well as face covering, and again, constant hand sanitizing, it might be safe.
Keeping things sanitized, keeping your distance, keeping the mask on, I think that these are like leaps and bounds ahead of like what other businesses are doing.
If you do decide to hit the gym, the CDC recommends following these guidelines. Limit your activity indoors. Continue to social distance and limit physical contact. Take extra precautions with shared equipment and wear a cloth face covering because it can't hurt. Betsy, limited studies show that it is more likely to spread in closed areas with high intensity, and gyms are obviously enclosed areas with very high intensity. And the wider the spread, it won't spread as much if you have more space. So doing things like Pilates or yoga, there's no spread at all because there's enough room and everything. But, you know, just got to try and stay away from each other, apparently.
Right? There's a lot of parks and Parks and Recs department and whatnot that have been doing outdoor yoga. That's kind of been nice. And of course, lately, the outdoor yoga has also doubled as hot yoga. And so they've been sweating it up out there because of all of this gross heat and the humidity. We really don't have a whole lot of relief coming from that, unfortunately. Summer is officially kind of right here, right now. And as we take a look at how we fared today, friends, we made it to 95 degrees. I know this is Mike Polk's favorite weather. He likes it hot. I don't know if that's the truth or not. But anyway, 83 is the average high on this date. We were 2 degrees off the record. How about that? Getting closer. Nowhere near the record low. That was set in 46 degrees back in the 1930s. All right, there is a look at the rain that is moving outbound. This is some heavy stuff that is now moving through Lake, northern Geauga County. We're going to kind of push it down toward the eastern corner of, southeastern corner of Geauga County. Out of Portage County now, it's moving more into Trumbull County. This is a strong cell that's moving into the southwest corner of Trumbull County out around Newton Falls, and then continuing to move up toward the Andover area. And then it looks like Stark and Carroll counties are now out of the thick of things. But at the same time, look west, we've got more scattered showers and storms developing. We'll be getting those a little bit later tonight. But right now, the heaviest weather is in Lake and Geauga County. We don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings to talk about, just a whole lot of heavy rain coming down. And then also now moving into Trumbull County. So it's a heads up for the rest of Trumbull County and then also into Ashtabula County. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s in Northeast Ohio. You can definitely see the rain has had an impact throughout the day today. And the big picture shows that next round of rain that is off to the west of us. This will swing through tonight. So we'll likely have an uptick in scattered rain and thunderstorm development late night. Tomorrow, I think we get a break. Now, that being said, we have a couple different mechanics that are kind of working in this whole forecast to delay a real drying trend here. But we need the rain, so that's okay. We have Tropical Storm Faye that continues to work its way northward. We'll talk about that in a moment. These scattered showers and storms that we have are going to wait until Faye gets out of the way to finally move. But once that happens, I think we'll get a dry period tomorrow. And then tomorrow night and into Sunday, we'll have another wave of energy that works in to bring us a pretty good shot at thunderstorms on Sunday, too. There's a look at Faye. It is quite the soaker as it continues to move into southern New England. Winds are at 50 miles per hour, moving to the north at 14 miles per hour. It's going away from us, so we will have no impact, except that it kind of puts the brakes on all the showers and thunderstorm chances that we've had through the day today. So scattered rain, scattered thunder continuing as we get into the overnight hours tonight. It's going to be a muggy night. We'll have showers lingering in the morning. This is what I was talking about, that stuff that's to the west of us. That then will start to swing out as Faye finally moves out. That finally will start to swing out. And by afternoon and evening tomorrow, we're going to break back out into some sunshine in your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. But now your Universal Windows Direct forecast moving forward through the rest of the weekend. Low 80s on Sunday with scattered rain and storms. We'll be clearing out on Monday, and then the heat comes roaring right back at us as we're back into the 90s through much of the middle of next week. So Mike Polk, I just said, I know this is your favorite kind of weather, so guess what? It's coming back. Hopefully your sister is well stocked on rum and ice and coconutty type flavored
Totally.
beverages.
And I took her air conditioning unit out of her house and put it in mine, so we'll be fine here on Brown. Thank you very much, Betsy.
Such a Brown.
And Kid Cudi, I don't know if you heard this, but Kid Cudi and Eminem dropped a new song, and they're using it to pay tribute to George Floyd.
And this dog is brilliant. what he manages to do without anybody noticing. Don't look here. Don't notice me.
What a little devil.
Definitely worth a watch. That's right. It's time to find out what's new from Hollywood in our Pop Break segment. Meghan Markle is fighting to protect her friends, and some super famous celebs are celebrating milestone anniversaries in a fun way. Stephanie Haney shares all the details in today's Pop Break.
Eminem and Kid Cudi are pairing up for the first time on a new song that does not hold back on what's going on in our country.
Worried, not prayers to George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. Is it that so many cops are dirty? Stop, man, please. Officer, I'm sorry, but I can't breathe when I got you on top of me.
The rappers dropped The Adventures of Moon Man and Slim Shady on YouTube this morning, and the lyric video has already been viewed more than 1 million times. All of those people also got a harsh wake-up call that we're still in a pandemic.
Wanna wear a mask and they're just scoffing, and that's how you end up catching off them.
A good but definitely aggressive reminder to wear a mask, people. Meghan Markle is fighting yet another battle today against the UK paper The Mail on Sunday. The Duchess of Sussex is trying to stop the Mail from finding out the names of several of her friends who wrote an anonymous People magazine article in her support in 2019. The Mail says that the identities of the 5 women are at the heart of the case and that they have no intention to reveal their names. But Meghan is not so trusting. I wonder why. And 2 of our favorite Hollywood couples are celebrating anniversaries. Country singer Carrie Underwood rang in 10 years with hubby and NHL player Mike Fisher with cute and awkward throwback photos of the 2 of them. While A Quiet Place stars John Krasinski and Emily Blunt are also celebrating a decade, but it looks like they're staying quiet on social media and enjoying the day to themselves. Congrats to these happy couples.
And in some breaking couple news in the entertainment world, Jada Pinkett Smith came to the Red Table today with Will Smith, revealing what actually went down with August Alsina.
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship. Absolutely.
Okay,
That's
here's the
not
deal,
awkward.
you guys. Jada and Will, Yeah, it was awkward. But here's the thing. They were not together at the time, and Will did not give his blessing like August said, but he did know about it. And apparently they are all good now.
Wow. There's so much I don't know that's going on in our world, and this segment really brings that to light.
I guess you have to be a celebrity to try and pull something like that off. I don't think most of us could get away with that. But good for them if it works, right?
Whatever's making them
Stephanie.
happy, absolutely.
Now, I promise, folks, this Worth the Watch will not disappoint you. What this dog manages to do without the kids seeing him is just fantastic. It's straight ahead in our Worth the Watch. Stay tuned.
We all know the dogs are smart, but this dog might just be the smartest and the sneakiest out there. Well,
check this out, Betsy. It sneaks out of its crate, moves the fan. This is such a great move. So it's facing the crate and then goes back into it and closes the door before the kids notice. And that is so shifty. Like, that is almost like a cat move.
Stop it. This is
that's
awesome.
Impressive.
Oh my gosh, that smart little dog. I mean, I read the script and I know what was coming, but oh my gosh, that darn little dog is so cute. That's hilarious.
It's kind of creepy. It looks like they're about to take over.
No. Let's hope he never meets your cat. Well, Mike, thank you so much for helping us today and yesterday too, and filling in for Jay. We'll be back on Monday, of course. I think Jay is supposed to be back too.